Dick Beattie, our top seed, after a long week here in Hammond, doesn't waste any time here to start the championship game. The first look at a southpaw this evening. He starts with a beautiful strike.
And the heart is pumping. You can see he's nervous, but he's got such a simple game, and he's got a good line to the pocket. He's making Handegard finish on the other lane. John has finished his 2 previous games on lane 32. Now he's going to have to finish on 31.
So although Beattie hasn't yet made an appearance in the championship round, he's got the strategy down.
Well, the only trouble John has had was that split on the left lane. Good speed. Boy, he looks so determined, so strong. He's been in this situation before, though, and has never won. We remember back in the late 1970s in Salt Lake City when he was up by over 250 pins with 3 games to go and wound up losing that tournament.
To Wayne Chester, as a matter of fact. That was one of the toughest losses I've ever witnessed on the PBA National Tour. There was no television show. It was a summer tour event. But he's been trying to win ever since. And he comes storming out of the starting gates with a strike.
And here's Dick Beattie, 17-6, hitting the 4th and a half board. Again, he only loses about a little less than 1 mile per hour from 15 feet to 45.
Well, it's really been an interesting look. Our Boulder track, ringing 7-pin this time for Beattie.
Very simple approach. 4 steps, gets the ball down very quickly. Quick steps to catch up with it. Shoulder high backswing, head pretty steady. And trouble, misses the 7-pin. That's nerves, Denny. That's just simply nerves.
Perhaps too fast. Beattie basically dashing up there to shoot the 7-pin, and then the championship round, you have to keep your wits.
Well, he switched balls, then, and there's a slightly different feel. He shot him in practice. He didn't want to pull it by, gave it too much room, and it falls off in front.
Back to live action. That one through the nose, as one would expect after an unforced error in the title match. Meanwhile, Handegard sitting coolly, resting on the laurels of a double in the first 2 frames.
And Dick, boy, he grabs that spare shot, and he's up shooting it before the other one gets back. Makes this one.
And applauds himself for the spare effort on that trip. John Handegard asking now for a re-rack on lane 32. And while we do have a pause in the action, we'd like to thank 3 gentlemen, Jim Russell, Tom Fee, and also Bob McCauley, all of the Brunswick Bowling Division. They are the gentlemen who have supervised and run our Boulder track this evening. And we want to thank them personally, and of course the Brunswick Corporation, for allowing us to utilize Boulder Vision.
Right now, John's not thinking about bowler vision, color vision, or anything. He's thinking about strike vision.
He has been focused all evening. Let us see if he can continue. And he does. He is a handful right now. A lot of frustration over the last 3 or 4 years in the championship round. He's taking it out right now on Dick Beattie.
Did I hear right? You said Handegard is a handful?
Yes, I did.
I was just trying to get that straight.
You know, his nickname is Hand Grenade. You could say Handegard the Hand Grenade is a handful.
Trying for 4. Oh! Sue's right. It's the different color dress.
Now you watch. Every wife who bowls, or I should say every player whose wife watches over the next 3 or 4 weeks, will be wearing, what is she wearing tonight, by the way? Is that like a
pink and red
combination? Is that what that's called? What do we know about color?
I don't know. My wife doesn't let me out of the house without checking me. So
another 7-pin for Beattie, and the last trip on lane 32 was a memorable one for him. He wastes little time.
Says thank you. I made the 7-pin, but he's falling further and further behind. Handegard at 17.6. Boy, he swung. You see the difference? He got that out to the 8th board, 8th and a half. That's 2 boards right of where he has been aiming. When you get that kind of reaction, Dan, you can swing it and it comes back solid in the pocket. Boy, does that free up your swing.
Well, especially when you know you've got 2 or 3 board area out there to work with, and your opponent is also struggling, and for Beattie, the big four pops up on lane 31, and that spells a real disaster.
And John Handegard right now is already counting the money and saying, change my name from red to black on the scorecard or the scoreboard. For those that don't know, all the champions have their names in black on our scoreboard in the bowling center, and the non-champions are in red, and John has had his in red his whole career.
And of course, a banner will be hung as well for each new PBA champion, and if there's a guy out here that deserves one, I would venture to say this gentleman is.